Very good. Hey guys, so I had three words that came up, and I wanted to kind of focus and highlight on a perspective that for me, post accident, has been something that I have just wanted to share about. But several times recently, for different reasons, the sentence has come up, oh, that must be nice. And I want you to hear and understand that the three words must be nice have probably killed more dreams than we can document. So I want you to just humor me for a few minutes, going along the path of what this sentence felt like, and then kind of the spotlight that it shined on what I'm kind of walking through in life. And I hope that it can be a little bit of an inspiration and a little bit of a motivator for whatever, however it applies for you. So a lot of times I have been guilty of looking at somebody's situation, whether it's in our business or just in life, and I forget that I'm looking at either their highlight reel or I'm looking at their chapter 57 when I'm on chapter 2. And so when we were on the receiving end of the statement, oh, it must be nice to be able to have this opinion because, and there were assumptions that were made that were so, I don't want to use the word triggering because that even in and of itself is a word that means something so different to me right now. But it kind of sent me into this spiral that I had to process through, because if you were to rewind 14 years ago, we could use the date for starting my plexus journey, but if you were to even rewind before that, if somebody were to look and say, well, John and Sarah Marvel have this, and this, oh, it must be nice to be them. And then it completely undermines or discredits the hard work, the grit, the consistency, the motivation, the dark times behind the curtain. I want that to be kind of a aha moment. One, that anybody on this call or watching the replay, that you don't sell yourself short in allowing you to think that about somebody else and make it be something that feels yucky about you. Like, oh, it must be nice for them, I'll never have that. Or it must be nice that they're there, I couldn't ever do that. That is a very dangerous mindset, and one that I'm hoping you guys will be able to either recognize or acknowledge that you have allowed yourself to compare and beat yourself up, and not understanding what might be behind that. For us, the must be nice, I just, as I'm thinking about like mapping out icon or what is coming with the Leaders Retreat contest, a lot of people who will start the contest on September 1st are already going to have either 150 credits or 300 credits, or we've got some icons who are going to have 1,100 credits when they are 8, 9, 10, possibly 1,100 credits when they start the Leaders Retreat on September 1st. And I could say, oh gosh, well, that must be nice if they hadn't been in an accident. You know, they've already been working all summer. Good for them, you know, and turn it into a victim mentality for myself. That's a very dangerous, slippery slope. So whenever I have like a brain dump or notes, it's always note to self and inviting you guys into my brain. So I want you to remember that the must be nice, just for the example of where we are in life and business, people don't ask about the days that I was a terrified registered nurse who was a newlywed, and my husband got into anesthesia school and we moved from Louisiana to Kansas City. Well, I didn't want to go to Kansas. I didn't have anything nice in my brain about what Kansas was going to do for us, but Jesus knew better. And so I will never forget thinking to myself, my husband's going to be a full-time student I have to support us. We're newlyweds. Like we need an apartment. We need, all the things. And walking into a travel nurse agency in downtown Kansas City. I was terrified to drive there. I was terrified. Didn't know where I was going. Like as I'm talking about this, I'm already feeling like the pit in my stomach and my heart is beating fast. Walking in and just saying, I need to make as much money as possible because I'm a newlywed and my husband's in anesthesia school. And they were like, perfect. We have travel assignments for you. And they loved that I was a seasoned ICU nurse that also had labor and delivery experience. That put me in 2 specialties. And they said, what we can do is we'll give you a local travel assignment contract. And every day you won't know which hospital you're going to, but whoever is short staffed, we will book you for a local hospital, which could be anywhere in a 30-mile radius. And I was like, great, that sounds great. So I just want you to imagine, if you're not in the medical field, it's hard enough showing up for a shift in ICU, not knowing what your patient is going to be. Imagine being a nurse who is going to fill in for a short-staffed floor, not knowing what hospital you're going to, not knowing anybody that you're working with, not knowing the protocols, not knowing where the Pyxis machine was and how to get medicines out for your patient. Every single day for my husband's first, I guess that was the whole first year. Every day, IntelliStaff would call and say, you're going to this hospital in your ICU. Okay, you're going to this hospital in your labor and delivery. And every day I would say, I'm going to do what I have to do to make money for our new little family. And I just did it. Did I like it? Nope. Was it really challenging? Yep. Did I feel inadequate and underprepared and like I was going to die some of those days when the nurses didn't want to? They knew that I was making more than them. They knew that I was the agency nurse being brought in who was going to have a shift differential, an ICU differential, a travel differential, and I was making more. So they didn't have to be nice to me. They didn't have to help me out just because I was, a contract worker getting brought in. And when I think back to, I just did what I had to, because we had goals, we had dreams, we had a vision for what we wanted for our life. And that showing up in the hard was just a non-negotiable. We just decided this is how we're going to do it. This is what needs to be done. Now, the beautiful part of that is I was brought on to one of these hospitals that loved, we just fit very nicely in labor and delivery, and they ended up giving me a long-term contract and then signed me as a staff nurse. And then the last year and a half of our time in Kansas City, I was able to be a staff nurse on a unit that I loved, met some of my best friends, a lot of who are leaders on my Plexus team today because of that opportunity. And it's just one of those things. Looking back, somebody could say, well, it must be nice, you're married to a nurse anesthetist. Well, actually, those 3 years of what it took for my husband to become a certified registered nurse anesthetist were some of the hardest and darkest times in being newlyweds and working through the stress of that, and then showing up and doing the grit and the determination of what caused that. So I want you guys to really think right now, where are you and where do you want to be? And how are you showing up for what that dream looks like? We knew eventually down the road we wanted to start a family. I wanted to be able to have flexible hours. Like we had this literal vision of where our life was going, and we just did what we had to do. Fast forward, after some infertility issues and 3 years of not being able to get pregnant, I found out I was pregnant. It was a miracle. I was working nights. John was finishing anesthesia school. And I worked literally until I worked 3 12-hour shifts in a row, 38 weeks pregnant, and then became a patient in the bed next door on that last, like I literally worked, and then worked myself into the hospital bed the next morning when I had to have Jackson. After Jackson was born, John would go to school all day and then have Jackson at night, and then I would work all night, and John would bring Jackson to me at the nursing station because he had to be to school before I got off. And then I would take Jackson home with me as a 3-month-old after I had just worked 12 hours, and I would put him in a swing safely next to me, and I would doze on and off and nap while he napped after working 12 hours. And we did that until John graduated. So I'm not saying this to say, yay, Sarah. I'm just saying I was reminded this week when somebody was like, yeah, it must be nice to be where you are, that I could give you 1,000+ stories over the last 23 years of my marriage and our careers of those must be nice statements, the behind the scenes and what it looked like. And it was hard and it was challenging. And we showed up and we did things we didn't want to do. But guess what we did? We decided, we committed, and we took control and focused on what we could control. And we made sacrifices. We would walk for date night. We would walk 2 miles to the local Mexican restaurant, and we would eat all the free chips and salsa that we could, and we would split one entree that was the cheapest thing on the menu. And we would get so excited when we could get out and drink water, get out of a place for less than $15 for date night, because that's all our starving student budget could afford. You just do what you have to do. Pivot to what does that look like when you're your own boss, when you're your own CEO, when you decide that this Plexus thing is going to be a side hustle or a career or whatever the case might be. I think the grit level and the adversity quotient, which is something that I don't know if I didn't invent, but is something that means so much to me. What is your adversity quotient? Meaning, what are you willing to walk through, and what failing forward, what are you willing to do for the goal, the vision, the future, all of those things that you have set up for yourself? Everybody will have a different level of adversity that they are willing to push through, the uncomfortable, the hard, to say, well, my dream is on the other side of that. And unfortunately, I'm seeing this trend of people not willing to say, I'm willing to do X, Y, Z in order to get this. And a lot of those people are like, well, it must be nice that it worked out for you. Well, it didn't just actually work out. There's lots and lots and lots and lots of stories. So all of that to be said, I will forever be grateful for, I was thinking about dates. June 3rd, 2025, 3:08 p.m. is the day that that car lost control and sideswiped us and sent us into the trees at 80 miles per hour. And I probably, it could have turned out a lot differently for me and my husband and Hudson. And we are still here to talk about it. And I am not going to waste any day. But thinking about what that accident did, knowing that on November 7th of 2010, I said yes to a pink drink because I wanted to lose a little bit of weight. And had I not said yes to Plexus, I would not have the opportunity to be healing and taking time off and have an amazing team who is still sharing, and, a customer base that has kept my business stable, and all of those things. Thinking about the sharing and the reaching out, I just want to encourage you that you might just be one conversation away from your dream. You might be one conversation or person away from everything changing. And you might feel like, well, it must be nice to be where you are, but there are seasons and opportunities to walk through to teach you. And it's maybe that we need to learn and grow and learn something in a season. And that journey from Emerald to Sapphire was really long time for me. And it was a season of speed bumps and failing forward. And I just dug in and was like, I'm obviously here to learn something and I need to figure this out. So what do I need to learn here? I want to give you guys 2 book recommendations. One book that I picked up, I guess I was about 7 weeks post accident and still felt like my world was completely upside down and I was not getting better. And the Lord brought Erin Carey into my life through social media. I did not know that she was Plexus, but that was how we were connected on social media. And she has just written a book called Live Beyond Your Label. And she reached out to me and said, I haven't launched it. It's in pre-release, but I feel like I should give you access to it. So I was this crazy woman trying to walk to my mailbox without pain, listening to this book on audio, tears streaming, because it was just this beautiful summary of healing, my brain, my gut, my heart. It's a beautifully written book that I think everybody on this planet needs to read. So it's in pre-launch. And you can go look up Erin Carey, or you can go back to my Facebook. I shared a big long post about it. But I finished that book, and it just ministered to me on so many levels and encouraged me that I was making baby step progress. And then this one, the Multiply Method. And this is where I want to get kind of real with you guys. I am kind of reminded that if somebody says, well, gosh, it must be nice, that you're a diamond, or it must be nice that there's no magic formula, you guys. There's no easy button. There's no, this person got there for a reason that we don't all have access to. And when I think about Icon or Leaders Retreat or just helping people, it comes down to how many people am I talking to? How many people am I inviting to take a look at what we have? And I keep saying to myself, you are just one conversation away from changing somebody's life. And if somebody had not had a conversation with me, my life would look so different right now. Another date that I have ingrained in my brain is the day that I had just gone silver, and then found out I was shockingly pregnant with miracle and surprise baby number 3, who is 6.5 years gap between Logan and Hudson. And having the opportunity to know that this pink drink could be something, I confidently walked into my boss's office when I was working labor and delivery at the time. And I walked into my boss's office and I started crying before I even sat in the chair. And my boss looked at me and she said, "You're here to resign, aren't you?" I was like, "Yes." And she was like, go chase your dreams." She knew that I wanted to stay home with this baby, and that I had found a pink drink that I was going to pursue as a business. And that was a turning point for me. And another, must be nice story is, well, you did XYZ. I was so sick for that pregnancy. Like, I threw up every day, all day for like 6 months. I had a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old, 5-year-old and 6-year-old while I was pregnant. So I'm like juggling the 5-year-old and 6-year-old, puking my guts up, and went from silver to emerald for that 9-month pregnancy. We just do what we need to do because we've got goals and we've got hopes and we've got dreams. And I had a note card that said how many people and how many points to emerald, because I was going to hit emerald by the time I delivered Hudson, and I did. And then I had another note card that said, this is how much debt we have. This is how much student loans we have. This is what our mortgage payment is. I want to be debt free by 40. And I was checking off the list, and the must be nice to be debt free by 40. Well, the must be nice was the spreadsheets and the saying no to things and the saving and, all of those things that turned into something so beautiful and so amazing. And so as we're inviting and reaching out, it's not about, oh, I want to, get 150 Leaders Retreat credits. It's, if I were to invite people and 3 people said yes, because it was going to help their health, or it was going to help their finances, or it was going to be the answer to their prayers, that perspective is so important and so beautiful. So when you read a book like The Multiply Method, she's talking about having conversations and inviting and having events. It really is this beautiful marriage of, I want to be a good salesperson because sales is what brings in commissions, and that's how I'm paying some of my bills. But it's also foundational to believe that these conversations are what is going to be the opportunity that could change somebody's life. What rank did I surpass my nursing salary? So I will tell you that all of that is kind of a blur. And I did confidently resign as a nurse, one, because John was a new nurse anesthetist. So we did have that. But two, I literally put all my chips on the table. I was like, I am going all in and I am doing this thing. My mom joined me that June. We went for convention. June of 2011 was the first ever Plexus convention. And we went, I was a brand new silver. And that was the day I decided that I am doing this. And my mom and I ranked, gold, senior gold, ruby, senior ruby 4 months in a row. And from silver to emerald was 9 months. So I would say in less than 9 months, I mean, obviously when I hit emerald, we were good to go and I was making more than I was as a nurse and, exceeding that. So yes, that. And then from emerald to sapphire was 16 months. Sapphire to diamond was 4 months, and diamond to re-entry, where you go over 6,000 points and you can sign back up under yourself, was another 4 months. So, there was some snowballs, but there was also some speed bumps in all of that. So my encouragement to you is share your story, your one conversation from everything changing. Go back to the basics with who are you inviting? Who are you reaching out to? How many conversations are you in? Are you posting? Are you in your stories? Are you just posting and praying? Are you posting and seeing who's interacting? Are you taking those steps to say, hey, thanks so much for following me. I saw you're watching my stories. Have you ever tried this pink drink? One question like that could open up a conversation. Keep sharing. I went to back to school night and I had 2 people come up to me. One said, I've been watching you for years. Can you please finally tell me about the pink drink? I was like, yep, I'm your girl. And another girl came up to me and she said, hey, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm one of your customers. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I got to put a name with a face and I had never met her in person. And then I was thinking to myself, I'm glad that there's been some follow-up. I'm glad she didn't come up to me and say, who are you, order from you every month. But it was just a reminder that even in a downtime for me, there's still good things happening and people are still seeing that this is something that has changed my life. So I want you to be thinking, no matter where you are today, we still have a week left in this month. Enrolling 3 can get you 150 credits. Enrolling 6 can get you 300 credits to start Leaders Retreat. Now I want you to think about this. Leaders Retreat is a wonderful trip and I will earn it and work towards it every single time. But the activities that will get you Leaders Retreat are just the activities that you need to be doing to build a strong business. They are reinforcing, bringing in new people, helping those people bring in new people, holding rank, duplication, all of those things. There's a workbook that I will send you a link for. The most amazing, wonderful person that came into my life, Tina Marie Price, has made a Leaders Retreat guidebook for how to earn it and how to keep track of everything. So I will share that with you. And thank you, Tina, for that. And then I have a friend of a friend who came across my news feed yesterday and I watched her reel and it pierced me in the heart. She was a part of one of the companies that went from network marketing to affiliate and she lost everything, overnight or whatever. So she was out of that. And she said, and she's now smashing every single record in a different company. She said, I want you to know I didn't join this company because I got a message. I didn't join this company because somebody sent me a 6-minute video. I didn't join this company because I saw random posts. I didn't join this company because I got an email or was on somebody's XYZ. She said, I joined this company with this person because this person dialed my phone number, picked up the phone and said, hey, I know you're going through a tough time, but I need to tell you about this because I think you would be amazing here for XYZ. And she said, and it wasn't just one phone call. It was several phone calls with this person pouring belief into, I'm inviting you to take a look at this because. And so she joined that person, the only person that picked up the phone and made a personal invite phone call. And now, she's broken every single record in the history of that company. And interestingly enough, it's not this person, Sarah and what she's doing is also just unbelievable. But this is the back to the basics that everybody needs. Rock Your Network Marketing by Sarah Robbins was the very first network marketing book I read. And Sarah mentored me in learning how to do network marketing, and I contribute her to a lot of the reason I was successful early on. And this is the 2.0 version, newer, better, some different information. But back to the basics of who are we talking to? What are we saying? Are we personally inviting? Are we just throwing up the Monday Meet Plexus and hoping somebody gets on? Are we getting on ourselves? Are we getting on the Meet Plexus calls ourselves Mondays and Thursdays? Are you personally inviting and then showing up and then following up with those? Those are key, how you invite. And then I want to challenge you. As I was thinking back to this, it literally unlocked this memory lane for me of the last 14 years, and me just assuming that people know and understand my story. I mean, I've probably got 30 before and after pictures. I've been at my heaviest weight and skinniest weight probably 5 times over the last 14 years, all with Plexus and all with seasons and all with different things that have gone on. It's not just about a weight loss story, right? It's all of the stories that are intermingled with what these products have done, what this opportunity has done. And we need to get back to the basics of sharing. Where was I before I found Plexus? How did I find Plexus? Where am I now? Yo, when I joined, we had Slim. That's it. And then we launched the breast cream, Dr. Spencer's breast cream. We had the breast check kit, obviously. And then I was around when we launched Accelerator the first time. I was around when we launched the original triplex. Like, I've seen every single product get launched. And I just need to go back to the fact that I started 14 years ago because I wanted to get in my skinny jeans. But guess what? I was suffering with migraines. I was suffering with irritable bowel. I looked 7 months pregnant on any given day, even when I wasn't. Nobody told me that gut health was a thing. I was a nurse and I didn't know that gut health was a thing. And Plexus changed everything for my migraines, for my irritable bowel, for my income, for our family, for our future. The ripple effect, it just keeps going and going and going and going. So I'm going to get louder. I'm going to get prouder about going back to sharing the basics of what these products have done and what this opportunity has done. And I think we all can probably step up our sharing with getting passionate and getting excited and reminded, where are we? Because I don't ever want somebody to say, oh, that must be nice that those products are working for you. You know, they didn't work for me. But are we really giving the best customer care? Are we really telling people to commit to at least 90 days because that's how long it takes to get things started, and all of those things. So that is kind of my brain dump for you guys on this last Monday. I'm going to open it up if anybody has any thoughts or questions or comments. You can unmute yourself. And thank you guys so much for jumping on. I truly appreciate it.
I have a question.
Sure.
We have so many things to invite to. We have the Meet the Plexus, we have the Thursday call, and things like that. How do you decide what is going to move us forward and what to concentrate on inviting to? You know, I was thinking about like our skincare and some of the things like, you know, I still am heavier than I want to be. And sometimes that holds me back from inviting, like, oh, come look at this weight loss because I myself haven't lost weight all summer and things like that. And so, you know, I have a absolute love for our skincare, and things like that. But what are ways that you decide, like, who do you invite to what? If like the art of inviting, because, you know, I did the multiply method and sat on Sarah Robbins training, and she's like, you just teach everybody the same thing, to invite. And I find myself almost stalled because I'm like, I don't know what to invite to. There's too many things to invite to, and so on and so forth. And so process with me how I should move forward with that. Should I create a skincare messenger and just only invite to that? You know, Sarah Robbins talks about all the events she had and how she showed up at the same coffee shop every week, and things like that. That's not necessarily how we've been doing things lately in Plexus. Although when we did have those events, I felt like we were growing more than I am today. And so just process that with me if you can.
Absolutely. I love it. So in my opinion, I think the Monday Meet Plexus is for anybody and everybody. And I think that new VIPs and, seasoned brand ambassadors, it is an absolute you must be on. And here's why. I will never forget when we launched Diamond Documentaries, and I knew that every Thursday morning a new Diamond documentary was coming out, and I would wait, and I was probably one of the first 5 views every single time there was a new one launched, because I wanted to hear that next story of what's possible. And when I tell you, every single Thursday I was watching a new Diamond documentary, my belief meter was like, it just was like boom, 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 boom. Like every week I'm like, we're in the right place at the right time, and there's another person that just proved it could be done. And I was like, my belief was like 11 on a scale of 1 to 10. I would watch one of those, and I got out of the habit. And I feel like, I'm surrounded by the same few stories that I keep sharing. I just looked at the graphic for tonight. It's an emerald and a sapphire, and I have no idea who these amazing girls are or what team they're on. I'm like, there are so many stories that we still need to hear and know. One, for our own belief. Okay. 2, somebody brand new, they're going to need to hear about how simple it can be to share your referral link and get your first 3 people. And when I tell you, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think the call was 13 minutes. I have never seen such a brilliantly executed 2 stories and how to share your referral link in 13 minutes. So Monday nights, I would say anyone and everyone that you think needs to hear about what is Plexus, anybody who's new who needs to understand what is Plexus and how am I going to share it, and then anybody who needs to have the deposits of the belief bank deposited into, they need to be on. So in my opinion, I think Mondays is crucial, and it should be a personal ongoing, who are the buckets of people that you're talking to. And you might have 3 Mondays in August where they were like, sorry, I had back to school. Sorry, I had this. Sorry, I had that. And then the 4th one, they're like, okay, I can finally get on. So that habit of inviting and always knowing that that is a way that we can get the word out about what we have to offer, I think is so, so, so good. And just thinking like Monday nights, that's where we are. I also believe that Monday night is the perfect third-party tool that a new person could say, I'm excited. I want to share my link, but I don't know what to say. You helping with the duplication in the made to multiply, teaching your new person that they can use the Monday night call to get their prospects on, because they're going to hear it all presented to them, I also think is something that is key. So in my opinion, I think Monday nights, everybody needs to be on. It's for everybody. And you can kind of, what bucket are they in for why you're inviting and asking somebody to show up? Because the follow-up for that will be a prospect. What did you think? What did you love about it the most? Maybe it's something that they got enough information that now they're ready to enroll. A new VIP, a customer who's just getting started might be like, oh my gosh, my sister, my boss, and my neighbor all need this. Thank you for getting me on this call. Now I know how to share my referral link. You're going to help them share their referral link. You see what I mean? So then they're going to upgrade and do all the things. So Monday night is key. Thursdays, I absolutely think anybody who has said yes to Plexus needs to be on. Whatever, I think we all need to be on. Now, times get busy. I watch a lot of the replays, but they're going to get more of what are the products. And there's so many people who are like, I ordered this combo. I have no idea, what else is out there. They order the triplex and they're like, oh my gosh, nobody ever told me about Ease and Vital Biome. Right. And so, you'll be able to have Thursdays, Saturday master classes. I think anybody who's a green personality who wants more information, whether it's a prospect or, that's open for everybody. I guess what I'm saying is we have enough tools and resources that depending on who you're talking to, they're all going to fit into those buckets. And the fact that corporate is doing it for us, I think is brilliant. So I think that should be part of an IPA inviting to Mondays and Thursdays. And you can pencil out, that's maybe going to be, if you do an hour of inviting to each of those calls and then an hour of follow-up a week to each of those calls, and then you're on each of those calls for 15 minutes, I think that that's very good use of your business time. Now, let me just say, it was said to me this way, and so I'm going to repeat it this way just because it worked for me. Because I held back a lot from sharing when I felt like my own testimony was not as perfect as I needed it to be. And the person that I was confiding in said, well, it sounds to me like you've got the mirror pointing at you and you need to turn the mirror out to who you're talking to. And why are you going to rob them of their testimony because you can't get over where you are not feeling your best? It's like, oh, it was kind of a gut punch because I was making it about me. And therefore, I was robbing the invite of somebody who could be starting their journey, who maybe has been hoping, praying, wishing for something that could help them. And ultimately, what I have wrestled with, because I think about the scale every single day, I think about the size of my clothes every single day. I have for my entire life, always. And if you go back and look in pictures, you'll see pictures of me at my heaviest. You'll see pictures of me at my skinny. Nobody knows what people's battles are, whether it's gut health, thyroid, other hormones, trauma. For me, I'm an emotional overeater. I ate myself to oblivion before Jackson went to college. I didn't know how I was going to function. And then when I showed up for basketball senior night and I was like, who is that person? It was just this wake up call that gummy bears weren't going to help me parent better, right? Sour Patch Kids were not solving my life problems. It was just compounding. We've all had that. For me, being transparent that we're all a work in progress and openly acknowledging that I use food to feel better helped me, because I felt like it was the elephant in the room, like your advertisement for Plexus is on your kid's high school gym wall and you're walking in for senior night heavier than you've ever been. Like, you know what I mean? There were some things that you couldn't avoid. And so I made a huge post and I was like, yep, you saw me in a double extra large sweatshirt trying to hide the gummy bears, and here's where I am in life. Here is where I am in life. I'm still taking my products. I'm still showing up, but guess what? I'm addicted to sugar and I'm an emotional eater and I'm a work in progress, just like all of us. Nobody's perfect. So for me, being vulnerable and authentic in where I was in my journey helped me at least take the mirror off myself a little bit. But then I realized nobody cared and nobody was paying attention because they were too worried about their own selves, right? I had this huge story that everybody thought I was a fraud, and that I should just go hide because outwardly I didn't look like this, perfect picture of gut health. But we all have stories and we all have journeys and we're all on different chapters of our journeys. So I don't think there's any right or wrong for that. And at the end of the day, it's nobody's business. I'm sharing, yes, red light stories for sure. And the green light story is people need what we have, and I might be offering the solution that they've been praying for. I might have the answer that somebody is praying for, and it's not about me, it's about them. And so if that mindset can help me a little bit to take the mirror off myself and turn it outward to them. Now, having said all of that, I don't think there's anything wrong with shifting. If you are loving the skincare and you feel like that's something that you can confidently talk about and you want to pour into that and get 10 new skincare customers, go for it. I think that's absolutely amazing. I also like the perspective of this is where I am, but who knows where I would be right now had I not been working on my gut health for the last 14 years, had I not had these products. I'm seeing my weight fluctuation, between these two numbers. Maybe it would be between these numbers. You know what I mean? There's so many pieces and parts to the story that I think, and I've had plenty of customers who've gotten off Plexus and been like, oh my gosh, I just thought it was, XYZ. And I was wrong, and I cannot believe that I got off these products. And yes, they actually were making a difference. Does that help at all, Julie?
It absolutely does. And so my next question is when when you're getting in the momentum of inviting, what are you saying to invite to the Monday night call? Like, what are things like, are you leaving messages? Like, what are things that you're saying to people that you may have talked with about Plexus or have quit or any of those kind of things? I pretty much know like the current ambassadors that I am, but I want to grow and I certainly want to make it back to leaders retreat and things like that. And so what are some things that I need to make sure that I'm doing during that hour of recruiting?
So I think it's just a really good thing. So if you're thinking prospects, it could be a message like, hey, like, I know we've chatted about this before and the timing wasn't right. I would love for you to just jump on this super quick call just to see why I'm so excited about where we are with Plexus and what we have to offer. Like, you don't even, you don't have, it's a webinar. You don't even have to show up with makeup on. Like, they're not going to see your face. And I let them know, yes, they can hear your passion if you send a voice message. Like, I know life is busy. You might even be just driving home from baseball. I would love for you to jump on this call and hear why I'm so excited about, the business, the products, whatever it is. And I personalized each one. I don't usually do a blanket, invite. I mean, you'll see some stuff in my stories and stuff like that. But then for somebody, like I have a few new people, I will probably work on following up with, hey, I know we chatted when you got started that you have a referral link, and I know you just wanted to try your products and you didn't want to say anything, but I would love for you to jump on this call tonight and just see really quick what the possibilities could be when you're loving your products and if you do decide to share. And I let them know that it can just help kind of paint that baby step vision of what's possible. So I've had people definitely jump on. And then for people who are either not doing anything right now, but want to, or people who want to earn leaders retreat, I would just make it like mandatory. Hey, I'm getting on this call. I want you to be on this call with me because we are going to do big things together and we are going to change lives together. And we are going to get back to basics on how to share a referral link and what we need to do. Will you be on this call with me? And I make sure I'm commenting in the chat so that people that I invite see that I'm there. And then so that I can also see them, when they're on the chat for that. So I just personalize the message to each person. Like, why am I inviting you and what I'm hoping that you are going to get from that call. You're welcome. And the thing about this, you guys, is we don't have to reinvent the wheel. And these are calls that are being done for us. And to not plug into this third-party tool would just be crazy. So I think, in my opinion, it's just a non-negotiable for something that we're showing up to and inviting to. And I do have some of the new graphics. Does anybody else have any comments, questions?
Can you also share that 13-minute call so we know which one it is that you're talking to? Like, if we have someone, do you know where the recording is?
Yeah, I need to think back to which one it is. It was so, I literally, and I will tell you, like, I feel like they started at 7:59, but I think they just happened to jump right in at 8 o'clock. I'll go back and look through the graphics and see if it can jar my memory, but it's just been, I didn't do any calls for the first 6 weeks after the accident. So it would have been one of the last three or four. But I will go see if I can go back and look for sure. And there's some graphics for you guys. And I'll send the link. Anything else before we jump off? I am going to try to get some guest diamonds on. With next Monday being the 1st, we're going to probably have like the Academy page. Yes, Anita, the app, they have been loading all kinds of stuff into the Plexus Go app. We're going to probably have the September 1st month launch call that they always do for the Plexus Academy. So I'm not positive what next week looks like yet. But I will keep you posted. Monica, did you have a question?
I do. Where can I find the recordings from, like the Monday calls? Where are those located?
Yep, it's all loaded in the Plexus Go app.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Then also when you register, if you go back to that registration link, you can click replay. So if you've registered for the call
Okay.
each week, you should get an email. And then you can go back to that registration link and it'll either say register for the RSVP for the live call, or if it's right after the Monday call, it'll say watch the replay.
And the registration's in the app also.
I am going to send, are you in our Power Hour chat?
I am.
Okay, I will send the link. It's that, what's our landing page, y'all? Something yard, StreamYard.
Oh, StreamYard.
StreamYard. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, is where it's going to be. Yep.
Okay.
We'll drop that for y'all. Thank you guys for being patient with me and for humoring me. And I'm sure when we have all of the updates and details from Alaska and all that, just know that earning Cancun, like, we all need to be there, like, just as a non-negotiable. I don't know about you, but February is just about the time that you need to see some sunshine in your life. And so I'm planning on earning it and being there. And it will definitely, the contest is going to focus on level 1s and level 2s. So we're going to recruit new people and we're going to get them to silver and beyond. So awesome. Thank you guys so much for jumping on. It's so good to see all of your beautiful faces. And we will get back into the swing of things. Like I said, stay tuned. I'm not positive about next week, but I just wanted to make sure to check in with you guys. So who are you talking to? What are you saying? One conversation away from changing your life. Make sure you're not in the mentality of it must be nice. Remember, their chapter 52 is not the same as your chapter 2. But what are you willing to do? What is your adversity quotient? Are you going to get uncomfortable? I am going to sign up for a vendor event at my kids' high school. I'm going to do the Sip and Shop for November. And so I'm just trying to think to myself, how can I get outside of the box and do things that I have not been doing so that I can get the things that I want to get? What are you reading and what are you listening to are two very, very important things. I'm still all about Melanie Mitro and her podcast. Her last few have been amazing. This book, I think, is an absolute manual for network marketing, how it should be done. And then go grab Erin Carey's pre-launch of Live Beyond Your Label. Just my 2 cents. So love you guys. Talk to you later.